Welcome back, everyone. Sitting with me now is Giovanni Feroce. Uh, Giovanni, why did you want to run for governor?
Well, I thought ultimately for me the decision was pretty easy. Um, we need a vision. We need a vision for Rhode Island. The United States has to be on a vision, has to feed an objective. So in Rhode Island, we've been through tumultuous times. In the recent years, very tumultuous. Frankly, there's a lack of leadership at all levels, but especially at the gubernatorial level. There is clearly no training. So for me, I looked at what the opportunities were to provide Rhode Island with that training, to make sure that decisions are made in a professional manner, employ a lot of my leadership training, be it in the military, where primarily I received it and been part of the processes, understanding high-level decisions. The United States Central Command, where I served, was part of that team. To also, later on in life, going through the advanced management program at the Wharton School of Business, and understanding how, in fact, I should be making decisions and applying those so that at no point in time would you ever have a single point of failure, would you ever have, a kind of deer in headlights feel, but rather know automatically that if something happened that were to not be good for the state of Rhode Island, that immediately your second and third course of action would be employed, and we would be fine. So for me, it's about leadership. My infantry ring says "Follow me." That is one of my taglines. And I want the people of Rhode Island to really follow me because I have that background. I'm an Italian immigrant who grew up in West Warwick, Rhode Island, graduated from public schools, went to the University of Rhode Island, did the simultaneous membership program, went into the Army Reserve, enlisted, became an officer through ROTC at URI, went into business with my brother. We had a small business, Feroce Optical. It still exists in Rhode Island today. We sold it, but through that process, opened other optical opportunities. And then we all have been part of one of the biggest tragedies in the history of our country, which is 9/11. And post 9/11 is when I saw most of my Army days. So in a joint environment with Marines, Air Force, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, we took on counterterrorism efforts and provided the safety that was required for our country. And coming out of that, I was able to go back into the optical world, focus on a software, which I ultimately developed, and then met someone who had founded a company called Alex and Donnie. Met Carolyn Rafalian in 2009, joined her in 2010, and for the next 4 years, we built $1 billion plus company in valuation and certainly, revenue along the lines to justify that. So I've been part of really large efforts, and the state of Rhode Island needs very large thinking, but more importantly, it needs decision makers. I require situational reports. I use significant events to guide me. I make sure people understand what commanders' critical information requirements are. All of the things that the state of Rhode Island has gone through traumatically in the last 3-4 years that seem to be, days when we wake up and we don't know how it is that we got hit or what we got hit with, they would not be part of my administration. I would actually know ahead of time, make sure we don't go through that, and if in fact we did go through something traumatic, I'd have an answer immediately to address that and move on. But we would be moving forward in executing a vision for Rhode Island. With that said, what is that vision? And the vision is, in fact, one that creates a path of opportunity for all the citizens of Rhode Island. And I believe you should be on one of three paths: a path of education, a path of employment, or a path of retirement. And we need to take care of our youngest of the population, those with also developmental disabilities, and also the oldest part of our population, and understand their needs and take care of them with the resources of the state. But, you know, I am a Republican, and we'll talk about that here, Michael, and the fact is, you know, I am about reducing spending. I am about transformation. I'm about blockchain technology. We'll be talking about that and its effects and what and how it will give me the ability to do the previous two things. So that's where I am with my run for governor.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Giovanni. All that being said, I am a Democrat, and Giovanni's most certainly a Republican. There are quite a few things we disagree about. One thing I can tell you we don't disagree about is we need new ideas and real leadership. Being born and bred in Rhode Island, I can tell you the state I grew up in, it looked very different when I was younger than it does now. And I think a lot of that has to do with people not taking responsibilities for the jobs they take. We need to stop electing people who waited in line in Rhode Island. We need to remember that what made Providence turn around was people going for radical change. What made other parts of Rhode Island see big rejuvenation sometimes was painful. And these are things that are worth talking about. Even if we disagree on stuff like immigration or taxes, Giovanni and I agree on what's important, which is the people. We'll be right back.